Using a car with LiBCM installed is pretty similar to driving a Honda Insight in general. When you want to start the car, you just put the key in and you start the car just like you normally would. And when you're done driving, you can just turn the engine off. Do note that this screen turns on when you turn the key on, but it does take about 10 seconds for the screen to turn off. So now the screen is turned off there. If the display is difficult to read, there's actually a potentiometer on the back that you can adjust with a flathead screwdriver. So it's right here. And what you do is you put the flathead screwdriver in here and then you just rotate. Now there are stops. You can only rotate it about 270 degrees maybe. And you can see on the front that as we rotate, the text can come in and out. So that's too much. And so you can actually adjust that to whatever contrast you need. So with the key off, you will notice that this red LED does stay on. It will almost always be on. If this LED is on, that's telling you that the LiBCM hardware is currently turned on. LiBCM can turn itself off when it feels like it, and whenever you turn the key on, it will turn right back on and work, so there is no problem there. But as a troubleshooting step, if you ever see this red light is off when the key is on, that would mean that LiBCM is not turned on. So all of the LiBCM parameters during the beta period are shown through this 4x20 screen. And so what we can do is we can turn the key back on and look at what each one of these values mean. On the top left, we have the maximum and minimum cell voltages right now. And then we have the maximum and minimum cell voltage since you last turned the car on. This would be the delta between the max and minimum cell voltages. So this minus that. This is the pack current. Note that positive pack current is assist right now. That will change eventually. Over here we have the actual pack voltage and the spoofed pack voltage. This will change as a function of your assist and regen levels. And then this is the module temperature. So these are the lithium module temperature. And then this is how long the car has been on. Technically it's the last time the key was turned on. And this is the state of charge of the battery. And then over here is the kilowatts in real time, which right now has not updated, so it's just showing the startup text of kk.k or whatever. During the beta period, we need to make sure that the max and minimum voltages are always between the values listed here on this white label. That is ultimately your responsibility. LiBCM will do everything that it can to do that, but if it goes out of bounds there, you need to disable assist or regen. The easiest way is to use CalPod, which works in manual transmission cars from 2000 to, I believe, 2004. Other options would be MIMA, any kind of manual IMA control. Of course, you can stop braking. You can put the car in neutral. But whatever you do, you need to make sure that the voltage stays between the 4.2 and 3.1 volt limits. So while you're driving, you do want to make sure that every once in a while you look at these voltages and make sure that you are still in bounds here. So the maximum voltage needs to be less than 4.2 and the minimum voltage needs to be greater than 3.1 volts. If you're outside of that range, again, you need to disable assist or regen by using the CalPod switch or MIMA, or put the car in neutral, or turn the car off. If you can't maintain that voltage, remember that it's dangerous to be outside of those levels. If while you're driving your screen starts displaying random gibberish, that means you've had a transmission error and the screen is now in an unrecoverable state as long as you're driving. So what you need to do is you need to turn the key off, and then after 10 seconds the screen will turn off. So now that the screen is off, it has been reset by LiBCM, and when we turn the key back on, we'll get the correct data again. So remember that if the screen data becomes corrupt, you need to cycle the ignition. If you are not driving, if you're grid charging, if you unplug the grid charger and plug it back in, then that will also refresh the screen. At least at the beginning of the open beta, the state of charge gauge does not work properly. It's on the list of things to figure out, but we haven't figured out in firmware how to do that yet. So right now at least, this will typically just update to one value. I find it's either 18, 19, or 20 bars, and then it will never update again as long as you're driving the car. So for that reason, we need to use the state of charge on the actual 4x20 display. So you can use the grid charger as often as you want for as long as you want, or you could never use it at all. Using the grid charger does allow you to start with a fuller battery. So if when you're not driving you want to use the grid charger, you'll take just an extension cord here and you'll plug it into the standard US outlet, which is a 515P. And when you do that, you'll notice that the 4x20 screen will turn on. Now some of the values won't update because they're not updated when we're grid charging, but the max and min voltage values will update, and also the delta will update. So when you're done grid charging, or whenever you want, certainly before you drive, you'll simply unplug the extension cord, put this cord back down there, and now you're ready to drive. Right now we have the grid charger plugged in. If we now try and start the vehicle, we're gonna get an error here. There's going to be an alert on the screen that tells you that the grid charger is plugged in. You'll get an IMA error light, and then you'll also get a P1648, and you'll hear also a beeper that's going off rapidly back and forth. Those are all indications to you that you have the grid charger plugged in still, and of course you don't want to drive off while it's plugged in. If you try and start the car right now, it's going to use the backup starter. Now to solve this, you'll need to turn the key off. You'll need to go and unplug the grid charger. So I'm going to unplug the grid charger right now. You'll see that the alarm stops. Now if you have accidentally done that, then when you turn the key back on, we're good now in LiBCM land. The IMA is happy, but you are still going to have the P1648 error. So to clear that error, you can either use the OBD2 CNC to clear the errors, or you can unplug the 12-volt battery. To update the firmware on LiBCM, we first need to make sure the car is off. And once you've turned the key off, you'll find the USB cable that's behind the passenger seat, and we will plug that into our laptop. And then we will go to the download page, which is linsite.org/downloads, and that will have a link that will take you to a download. During the open beta, it will take you to GitHub here, where once again, just like when we were installing the pack to begin with, we'll click on code, download zip, and this will download the latest version of the firmware. Once the download finishes, we'll go and unzip the file, and then we'll open the folder and go to Firmware, MVP, and then just like before, if you have the plus 40% current hack installed, you'll need to open config.h, and once again you need to define set current hack 40, and to set it you'll remove the 2 forward slashes. 2 forward slashes means it's a commented out, it's not code. So if we had the 20% hack installed, we would do this. Or if we had no current hack installed, we could select this option. Now this is the default option. So if you don't have the current hack installed, you don't need to change anything. But in this case, our car has a 40% current hack, so we will go ahead and enable the 40% current hack there, save the file. And then we're going to find mvp.ino. And then once this file is open, we'll once again make sure that we can see the LiBCM hardware. So we see it here, it's USB modem 14201. And all we need to do then is just click the upload button, and this will load the latest firmware onto LiBCM. Now, during the beta period, the firmware is going to automatically delete itself every month or so. So you do need to make sure you update this firmware. If you don't update the firmware every month or so, then LiBCM will not work, after 40 days, for example. So this is to make sure that the beta firmware, which is not 100% tested, does not stick around. We need to force users to upgrade. It's a fairly easy upgrade process. Of course, in the released version, it will be made much easier. There will be a simple app that will upload the hex files. I haven't really worked that all the way out yet. So with the new firmware installed, we'll unplug the USB cable, and then we can turn the key right back on, and we should be good to go. Now, if you're ever curious which firmware version you have, you might notice that each time you turn the key off, there's a 10-second delay, but then after that 10-second delay, the screen will briefly display the firmware version, which in this case we're running 0.5.1. Once again, as soon as we get to version 1.0 of the firmware, which will be after we release the open beta, you won't need to update the firmware every month. But until then, that's just a requirement of participating in the open beta. If you want to log data with LiBCM, you'll need to plug the USB cable into your laptop. Ideally, you'll do this when the car is off because it can cause a P1648 error if you plug this USB cable in while the car is on. And once we have the USB plug plugged in, we'll open up Arduino, and then we'll go to the serial monitor, and we need to make sure that our baud rate is 115/200. The default value is going to be 9600, and if you have it set to that default value and you open the serial monitor, you're going to get gibberish data that doesn't make any sense. We get our welcome to LiBCM message, we get our state of charge, and then we calibrate the current sensor. From here, as long as the key is off, you won't actually get any more updates unless you plug the grid charger in. So what we'll do is we can turn the key on at this point. And when we do that, we're going to get a key on message. And then we're also going to get every 500 milliseconds or so, we're going to get the actual and the spoofed current. And then we're going to get the actual and the spoofed voltage. And then we're going to get the highest cell voltage and the lowest cell voltage. And then we will get the state of charge in milliamp hours. And then we will have the kilowatts right now that we are consuming, which will be 0 because the car is not started. And then we will have the temperature of the battery modules. And again, that data will update twice per second. So we can also get individual cell voltages by once again opening up the serial monitor. And then I've got a standard extension cord here. And I'm going to just plug this into the grid charger, which typically you would do from the back. And when you do that, you can see that we're getting a bunch of data that's output on the screen here. Now you can click the auto scroll checkbox, and that will prevent the screen from automatically scrolling. And here you can see we're actually measuring the individual cell voltages. So this would be IC0, this is cell 1, cell 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to cell 48 here on the bottom right. So we also have this balance output here, and this is just telling us which specific cells are being balanced. This is a hexadecimal representation for each IC, so kind of technical here, but this first 4D would be for the IC0, and then the second one would be for IC1. You can open up a programming calculator and type in, for example, 4D in hex, and we could see in binary which cells are grid charging. And then we look at the 12 LSBs. The 12 LSBs are which of the 12 cells in that specific IC are balancing. So if it's a 1, that means that it is balancing the cell. So it's easiest to just start at the end, and right now you can see that we are balancing cell 12. We are not balancing cell 11, but we are balancing cell 10 and 9. We are not balancing cell 8 or 7, but we are balancing cell 6. So that is IC0. Similarly with IC1, this would be cells 13 through 24. One easy thing is that if all of these results are 0, then we're not balancing anything. We are still just doing our bulk charge. And also, if all of our values are FFF, then that would mean that we are currently balancing every single cell on a particular IC. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you got to this point. If you didn't and you're having problems, please write about it in the public support forum. I want to make sure everyone gets this going properly. So yeah, if you have problems, issues, things that don't work, please post about it and we can work out the problem, whatever it is.